When you think of the moon, you normally think of NASA, Neil Armstrong, and Apollo 11. But you should also think of this guy.
Hi, my name is Yariv.
This guy, with his friends, just like NASA, built the cheapest spacecraft in the history of space that actually reached the moon.
Let me explain, because this story is out of this world.
Yariv is a 39-year-old electronics engineer from Israel. One day he had this idea. Why not do something crazy? Why not send something to the moon? So he opened his laptop, went to Facebook and typed,
Who wants to go to the moon?
Two of his friends replied to his post and said yes. And the three of them started working on one of humanity's hardest missions, to land on the moon. And what did people think?
Most of them just laughed.
They laughed at them and said they couldn't. It's like Mission Impossible because space is hard, and after all,
This is rocket science. Imagine you'd like to build a car for the first time in your life, and you have to build the car from scratch until it's working, ready to travel 500 miles without trying it a single time before you get into the car and start driving.
But what's even harder is the money science. To send anything to space, you need billions of dollars. And they didn't have much money.
and when they asked people for money, they got no after no after no after no. Nobody wanted to invest in space, but they persisted. And the few people that took a chance on them gave them money and helped them to make this dream come true, and raised $100 million in donations for this project.
It sounds like a lot, but $100 million is the cheapest ever spacecraft that made it to the moon.
And this money they used not only to build a spacecraft, but to also educate kids. Hundreds of thousands of kids from all ages, all races and religions were inspired by their crazy dream and thought that they too could land on the moon. Because their real mission is not to land on the moon, but to inspire millions of kids to pursue science.
It's not enough to land on the moon. We need to show kids that they can build spacecraft and land on the moon too and do the impossible.
On April 11th, 2019, after hundreds of setbacks, thousands of no's, and millions of space kilometers, the spacecraft got very close to the moon, took a historic selfie, sent it back to Earth, and crashed. Due to engine problems, the landing failed right as it touched the moon. But this wasn't a failure. This was just a setback. And for Yariv, it wasn't the only one. 2 years ago, Yariv got into a skiing accident and got paralyzed from the waist down. Doctors said he will be chair-bound for the rest of his life. So, he went to his desktop and logged to Facebook again. This time, he wrote,
No worries. First, we'll put a spacecraft on the moon. Then, we'll fix my legs.
Not many people get back up after a setback or two, but those who do make the impossible come true. On the first try or the second one.